Good evening, champion parents, and welcome to our platform, Mommie Talk, where we discuss topics that are real, relatable, and right on time. Today, we will be chatting with Dr. Hall to discuss how to support your child academically during COVID-19. Dr. Hall is a father, assistant principal, published author, and is part of University of Michigan Alumni Association Student Recruitment Teach One, Reach One program. During this time, we want people to know that you may experience higher anxiety than normal, which is okay. Try to come up with a routine and find a coping mechanism that helps decrease your anxiety. Welcome, Dr. Hall. How are you?
I am well. How are you guys, ladies?
Excited to have you.
We're awesome. Thank you for coming on with us this evening.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. During this time, people will experience higher anxiety than normal, which is okay. Try to come up with a routine and find a coping mechanism that helps decrease your anxiety. Dr. Hall, can you please share some tips on what people can do to overcome anxiety?
Well, one of the main things is you must get physical. You must work out those anxieties. Set up a specific time with your child where you can do a physical activity, where is it bouncing a ball back and forth, hopscotch, riding bikes, or just running through the backyard. But you have to get up and get out and to release the stress and anxiety.
Oh, I say get up, get out and do something. That's a song.
I like the way how Dr. Hall put that. You have to get up, get out, and release.
Yes.
That's very important, because if we don't release, what will happen, Dr. Hall?
What happens is, it's a chemical and physical reaction that happens. People get stressed and upset, which brings up their blood pressure. You increase your heart rate, and then the anxiety of just being inside. It is very important to get outside. And it's an old-fashioned method, but it's a simple method, and that's just feeling the wind blow past your ears, to re-engage with the world, to feel a part of life again in order to reduce anxiety.
Absolutely. Yes. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Ooh, I feel like I'm getting up and releasing that anxiety. I'm like, woo!
You were trying it out? Okay.
Yeah, I was. I'm trying it out. Actually, I'm gonna try it out again. Woo!
So anyway, I just kind of wanted to touch on the physical aspect. I certainly agree with you. You made some very valid and excellent points about not exercising. I know that's why when people say when they stop exercising after a couple of days, they feel really bad. So I definitely agree with you. So Dr. Hall, we're going to get right into it. So I basically want to know want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and why it is that you do what you do.
So the reason I got into education was students with the Teach One, Reach One program in order to help prepare minority students for education.
So you, that's a very inspirational listening to your background story. So I definitely thank you so much for sharing that. So speaking of, COVID-19 and, again, we have to really stress the fact that people are really going through anxiety and mental meltdowns. Look, here you go.
Yeah.
Meltdowns and stuff like that. And so we know that one of the ways to try to survive during this time is trying to keep things in order. So where do we begin with the support for our children? Where do we begin? Where do we start? Because this is new to everybody.
parents have to begin by following a program. They have to initiate and develop a program, one that works for both them and their child. Um, you have to remember, at school, the education, the student is surrounded by a host of support staff as well as a teacher. I mean, schools have behavior specialists, social workers, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and speech therapists. A
Hmm.
parent working at home, supporting their student learning, you have to be all of the above.
Everything, yes.
So therefore, in order to do that, it is imperative that parents put together a regular schedule for their student as if they were going to regular school, which means you have to create a space so
Hmm.
that your child can sit down and learn. Because
Yes.
your child isn't going to learn sitting in front of the TV. Your
Mm.
child is not going to learn eating a bowl of cereal and trying to read a book. It
Or
has
potato
to
chips.
be a structured area where a child knows, yes, when the child goes into this particular room at this particular time every day, the child knows that their goal is to get focused and learn.
Yes.
I just want to go back to where Dr. Hall said that parents have to create a schedule as if the child was going to school. So I have a question about that because are you saying that they should create a schedule with something for them to do on an hourly basis? Or are you basically saying that parents should come up with some type of working schedule, whether it be maybe Monday, they may work on English and language arts for about an hour, and then Tuesday, they're working on math skills. So I'm just asking because I know a lot of parents are trying to figure out how to balance a schedule with work, and, trying to be a parent at the same time, then trying to be, the parent teacher. So can you just kind of explain to parents what type of schedule they should create?
One schedule, I could give you a sample schedule. One would be wake up. You wake your student up or your child up every day at the same time before 9 a.m., say 7:30, 8 a.m., where the child makes up their bed, takes off their PJs, and eat breakfast in preparation for school like they would do on any normal day. Then following that, they can take a morning walk just to loosen up and prepare their brain. This is where some of that physical time come into play. They could take a morning walk, if it's just around the yard, just to clear their thoughts of whatever transpired that morning, prepare the mind for learning. Then followed by that, they can do a creative time, which is, to transition by doing a little artwork, a little drawing, write a little story, um, followed by the main focus, which is whatever focus class they may have at that time, or whatever focus work, which is your core, your science, your math, your English, your social studies. The student may do that. Then you may go to lunch. Then following lunch, um, you can have a quiet time where the child reflects after the meal and just kind of have some time, kind of recreational time for them and themselves. So by that time, both the parent and the student will need a break. And so you give them a little break time. After the quiet, the student can resume with the academic time.
Hmm.
Um, then they can work an hour or two, depending on the age, grade of the child.
Hmm. I think that's very important. Routine is definitely key and essential to keep our children focused on a day-to-day basis. So I'm glad that you brought that point up. And it seemed like you got an effective routine where you incorporate self-time or playtime or leisure or walking, as you're saying. And then also set time for, activities and schoolwork and engagement with, your family. But I definitely agree with you that, they need a consistent and repetitive schedule.
Yeah. And then just to add to that, Ms. April, and I like Dr. Hall that you also talked about, in addition to doing the things together, having a set schedule, but you also talked about the reflection time. We all need our alone time to kind of gather our thoughts, because we are in some different times now where we have to do so much together, as before, it was easy for us to, especially parents, we could go out, go have a little dinner by ourselves if we wanted to, little sip of some water somewhere.
A Shirley Temple.
And now it's just like everything is so confined,
very limited.
Yes, organization definitely helps, get them the brain activities and cells, percolating. Hey, percolating.
Percolator.
Yeah, so.
Right. And it's just important.
Skylar, that's Dr. Hall. Say hi, Dr. Hall.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Hall.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay. So with
the break times are just as important.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The break times are just as important for the parents as it is the student.
Yes.
Personally, when I take a break when working with my own kids, I go in the back and I'm digging the garden. I'm digging and letting out my frustrations from sit down, do your work, sit down, refocus, do your work. So I go out and clear my mind and prepare my garden.
Yeah.
So did it affect you when Governor I call her Whitmore.
The
Governor Whitmer.
Why do you keep saying Whitmer? Like, what?
I don't know. I just said Whitmore. I don't know why I said Whitmore.
That lady
Governor
is
Whitmore. Did it affect you? Like, because I was kind of like, I don't know why she closed like the gardening sections of like, different stores we would go to. So did that affect you anyway or no?
I view the world from a different perspective. I see germs because my class, we used to do experiments where we walk around, swab doorknobs, swabbing people's phones, swabbing faucets, swabbing the water fountains. And I understand exactly where she's coming from because germs are everywhere and spread like crazy. And it's what our enemy is unseen, unknown. And it only takes time to figure things out, right? Which coincide to my religious beliefs. But there's a scripture in the Bible that says, be still, wait on the Lord. So when they tell me to stay at home, I'm going to be still and wait. So
I know that's right. Amen.
I adapt to circumstance.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you, Miss April, because, initially, and before, Dr. Hall, I felt the same way, like, okay, especially because I was thinking selfishly, because I need help on my yard. And the guy that usually does my flower beds, he couldn't come because he couldn't go get the stuff. But I understand because I fully support Governor Whitmer. How can parents access resources for students during this time for their children?
So PBS Kids, Facebook has a learning page, YouTube channel, and then it's Penguin Random House on Facebook, which has a page. So there's several resources out there to help a parent better understand how to teach their student and more supporting resources to help a student learn. Likewise, there's watch free webinars. The History Channel .com. They are a great host for different topics in which to help parents for homeschooling, for instance, because a parent can apply the same techniques, right, at
Yeah,
this time as homeschooling as they would uh, teaching their child at home because it is homeschooling.
that's right.
So there's also uh, audiobooks and podcasts, and you can even check out free ebooks, which is several sites, which such as Libby, Canopy, Simply, and information and resources.
Hmm.
Great. Yeah, there are a lot of platforms online to use, thankfully, that we can use for our children.
You got some final thoughts for us, man?
Yes, ma'am. It is important to take care of both the parents' mental health. They must watch their own mental health in order to properly support their student. They have to be the guiding light. They have to be the leader. They have to organize their schedule and uh, go to the resources in order to help them with things they're not sure about.
Absolutely. Well,
Yes, yes.
thank you.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you for.
And he's outside when he says it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know how relevant that is? He outside.
Yes, embracing the outside. I think outside fresh air is really good. It's really good and
I'm a nature
helpful.
boy.
Oh my God, tell me about it. Yes, for real.
Yes. So, in building the village, we must equip our children with the necessary skills that assist in the absence of adults. Visit our website at www.mommietalk.com for additional information. Also, tune in next week where we discuss the influence and impact of honesty and transparency in parenting relationships. Same time, same place, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Mommie Talk.